15 ridiculous royal staff jobs that no longer exist, and why they disappeared. Have you ever wondered what it was like to work in a royal household back in the day? While being a member of the royal staff might sound glamorous, the truth is, some of the jobs people had to do were just downright bizarre. From professional food tasters to people whose sole purpose was to take punishment for royals, the royal families of the past certainly had some ridiculous positions on their payroll. In today's video, we're going to take a look at 15 of the most outrageous royal staff jobs that have gone extinct over the years. Some of these defunct jobs were simply made obsolete by changing times and modern amenities. Others were just too strange or impractical to maintain. But one thing's for sure, you'll never look at royal life the same way again after hearing about these crazy former occupations. So sit back, relax, and let's take a tour through some of the most ridiculous royal staff jobs in history. You might just be grateful you weren't born a few centuries earlier. Number 1. Groom of the Stool. One of the most peculiar roles in royal history was that of the Groom of the Stool. This position involved assisting the monarch in the most intimate of settings, the private lavatory. Imagine being tasked with duties such as holding the royal robe and providing assistance during the monarch's most personal moments. While it may seem utterly bizarre to us today, the Groom of the Stool was once a position of great trust and honor, granted only to those closest to the sovereign. However, as time passed and sanitation improved, the role became less personal and more ceremonial. The late Queen Elizabeth was the last British monarch to have a Groom of the Stool, but the position had become largely symbolic by the end of her reign. With the accession of King Charles, this archaic role has finally been laid to rest, a testament to the changing times and evolving societal norms. Number 2. Keeper of the Royal Bears. In an era when bear baiting was considered a form of entertainment fit for royalty, the keeper of the royal bears played a crucial role. Responsible for managing the royal menagerie's bears, this position involved tasks such as organizing bear baiting events and ensuring the well-being of these magnificent creatures, albeit in a manner that would be considered inhumane today. However, as animal rights awareness grew and such cruel entertainments fell out of favor, the need for a dedicated keeper of the royal bears gradually diminished. The last known holder of this position served under the reign of King George III in the 18th century. With the changing attitudes towards animal welfare and the eventual abolition of bear baiting, this role became obsolete, a reflection of society's evolving moral compass. Number 3. The Royal Falconer. While the position of the Royal Falconer still exists ceremonially, its practical role of training and handling falcons for hunting has diminished significantly over time. In the days of yore, falconry was a beloved pastime among the nobility, and the Royal Falconer played a vital role in ensuring the monarch's hunting expeditions were successful. However, as hunting with falcons became less popular, the role's practical significance waned. Today, the Royal Falconer serves more as a symbolic custodian of an ancient tradition, with duties that include participating in ceremonial events and overseeing the care of the royal hawks and falcons. Number 4. The Royal Messenger. In an era before modern communication methods, royal messengers were the lifeblood of the monarchy's communication network. These intrepid individuals were tasked with delivering crucial information, often traveling great distances and braving treacherous conditions to ensure the monarch's messages reached their intended recipients. However, with the advent of the postal system and later electronic communication, the role of the royal messenger gradually became obsolete. The last known royal messenger in Britain served under the reign of the late Queen Elizabeth, but their duties had long since been superseded by more efficient means of communication. Number 5. The Whipping Boy. One of the most shocking and controversial roles in royal history was that of the whipping boy. Employed to receive punishments on behalf of the royal children, particularly to teach them consequences without physically harming them, this practice was a reflection of the harsh educational philosophies of the time. However, as societal attitudes towards children rearing evolved and our understanding of the psychological impacts of such practices deepened, the role of the whipping boy was eventually abandoned. The last known whipping boy served under the reign of King James I in the 17th century, marking the end of this cruel and archaic tradition. Number 6. Herb Strewer. Early on, When the understanding of hygiene and disease was limited, the role of the herb strewer played a crucial part in maintaining the royal household's well-being. Tasked with spreading herbs and flowers throughout the royal palaces, these individuals sought to combat foul odors and, it was believed, ward off the dreaded plague that had ravaged communities time and again. While the practice may seem quaint or even ineffective by modern standards, the herb strewer's duties were born out of a genuine desire to protect the monarchy from the perils of illness. Fragrant herbs like lavender, rosemary, and thyme were meticulously strewn across floors and hallways. Their scents sought to purify the air and repel disease-carrying miasmas. As advancements in sanitation and the scientific understanding of disease eradication took hold, the need for such roles gradually diminished. The late Queen Elizabeth was likely the last British monarch to have an official herb strewer, though the position had become largely ceremonial by then. Number 7. Pittard. When fears of assassination loomed large, the role of the Pittard was of utmost importance. This officer was responsible for tasting the king's food and drink before it was served, ensuring that no poison or harmful substances had been introduced. It was a position that required unwavering loyalty and a willingness to put one's life on the line for the sovereign. The Pittard would meticulously sample each dish and beverage, watching for any adverse reactions that could signal the presence of toxins. Only after passing this rigorous test would the food be deemed safe for the monarch's consumption. The role was particularly crucial during times of political unrest or when visiting foreign courts, where the threat of poisoning was ever present. As food safety standards improved and fears of assassination lessened, the practical need for a dedicated Pittard diminished. However, the position remained ceremonial during the reign of the late Queen Elizabeth, a nod to the enduring tradition of safeguarding the monarch's well-being. Number 8. The Royal Laundress. Before modern washing machines and laundry services, the task of cleaning the royal family's garments fell to a dedicated team of royal laundresses. These individuals were entrusted with the delicate task of ensuring the monarch's clothing was impeccably cleaned and maintained, a responsibility that carried great prestige. The royal laundresses employed a variety of techniques from soaking and scrubbing to employing natural bleaching agents like lemon juice or sunlight. Their work was physically demanding, requiring long hours of labor over steaming tubs and washboards to remove the most stubborn stains and odors. As technological advancements like the washing machine and the professionalization of laundry services emerged, the need for a specific royal laundress diminished. While the late Queen Elizabeth may have had individuals dedicated to this task, their roles were likely more ceremonial than practical. Number 9. The Cupbearer. The cupbearer played a vital role in ensuring the monarch's safety and comfort. This individual was responsible for serving drinks to the king or queen, a duty that carried with it the grave responsibility of ensuring the beverages were not poisoned. To fulfill this task, the cupbearer would employ various techniques, from tasting the drinks themselves to employing specialized utensils designed to detect the presence of toxins. The role was one of great trust, as the cupbearer's loyalty and vigilance were essential in safeguarding the monarch's well-being. While the position of cupbearer still exists ceremonially in some contexts, the practical need for such a role has become outdated. With modern food safety standards and the diminished threat of assassination, the duties once performed by the cupbearer have been largely rendered obsolete, though their legacy remains a fascinating chapter in royal history. Number 10. The Yuri Officer. When personal hygiene was not as widely practiced as it is today, the role of the Yuri Officer played a crucial part in maintaining cleanliness during royal banquets and gatherings. Charged with overseeing the washing of hands, this individual ensured that guests adhered to proper etiquette and prevented the spread of illness. The Yuri Officer would preside over a grand ceremony, providing guests with scented water and towels for hand washing before and after meals. This ritual was not only a matter of propriety, but also a practical measure to promote sanitation in an era where the link between hygiene and disease was not fully understood. As plumbing and personal hygiene practices improved and the understanding of disease transmission evolved, the need for a dedicated Yuri Officer gradually diminished. While the late Queen Elizabeth may have had individuals overseeing such rituals, their roles were likely more ceremonial than practical, reflecting the changing times and societal norms. Number 11. Master of the Revels. Entertainment was once a central part of courtly life, and the Master of the Revels played a vital role in ensuring the monarch and their guests were suitably entertained. This individual was responsible for organizing a vast array of amusements, from elaborate masks and plays to musical performances and dances. The Master of the Revels would oversee every aspect of these grand spectacles, from commissioning playwrights and composers to managing the stage crews and performers. Their duties extended beyond mere entertainment, however, as they were also tasked with ensuring that the content of the performances was appropriate and didn't offend the monarch or their guests. As entertainment became more diversified and less centralized, and as the role of the court in shaping cultural trends diminished, the need for a dedicated Master of the Revels gradually faded. While the late Queen Elizabeth may have had individuals overseeing royal entertainment, their roles were likely more ceremonial than practical, reflecting the changing nature of courtly life and cultural consumption. Number 12. The Struer of Rushes. When floor coverings were a luxury, the Struer of Rushes played a crucial role in maintaining cleanliness and insulation within royal residences. These individuals were tasked with laying rushes, a type of marsh grass, and mats on the floor of palaces and castles, creating a cushioned and relatively hygienic surface for the monarch and their court. The rushes were not only functional, but also served an aesthetic purpose, as they could be woven into intricate patterns and adorned with fragrant herbs and flowers. The Struer of Rushes would meticulously maintain these floor coverings, replacing them as needed to ensure a fresh and pleasant environment. However, as advancements in flooring solutions emerged, and as the understanding of hygiene and cleanliness evolved, the need for a dedicated Struer of Rushes gradually diminished. The late Queen Elizabeth was likely among the last British monarchs to have individuals performing this role, though it had become largely ceremonial by that point. Number 13. Chamberlain of the Exchequer. In the complex financial administration of the royal household, the Chamberlain of the Exchequer once played a pivotal role. This individual was responsible for overseeing the financial affairs of the monarchy, managing the royal treasury, and ensuring that the sovereign's expenses were properly accounted for. The Chamberlain of the Exchequer would work closely with other financial officers, such as the Lord Treasurer, to maintain detailed records of income and expenditure, and to ensure that the monarch's financial obligations were met. Their duties also extended to managing the royal household staff and overseeing the procurement of goods and services. As the financial administration of the monarchy evolved and became more centralized, and as modern financial departments and practices emerged, the role of the Chamberlain of the Exchequer gradually became redundant. While the late Queen Elizabeth may have had individuals overseeing aspects of royal finances, the specific role of the Chamberlain of the Exchequer had long since been obsolete. Number 14. Keeper of the King's Swans. When swan ownership was a symbol of status and wealth, the Keeper of the King's Swans played a crucial role in overseeing these regal birds on behalf of the monarch. This individual was responsible for the care and breeding of the royal swans, ensuring that their habitats were well maintained and that their populations remained healthy. The Keeper of the King's Swans would conduct annual swan upping ceremonies, during which the birds were caught and their offsprings marked with the royal insignia. This tradition not only served to assert the monarch's ownership over the swans, but also provided an opportunity to monitor their numbers and health. As swan keeping became less of a status symbol and more of a conservation effort, the practical need for a dedicated Keeper of the King's Swans diminished. While the role still exists ceremonially, its duties have evolved to align with modern conservation practices and wildlife management. Number 15. The Almanor. When the monarchy was seen as a benevolent and charitable institution, the role of the Almanor was crucial in distributing alms to the poor on behalf of the sovereign. This individual would oversee the distribution of food, clothing, and other necessities to those in need, acting as a representative of the monarch's generosity and compassion. The Almanor would often travel throughout the United Kingdom, identifying those in dire circumstances and ensuring that the monarch's charitable efforts reach the most vulnerable members of society. Their duties also extended to overseeing the administration of royal almshouses and hospitals, ensuring that these institutions were properly funded and maintained. While the title of Almanor still exists in a ceremonial capacity, The practical job of distributing alms on behalf of the monarchy has changed significantly with the development of social welfare systems and charitable organizations. The late Queen Elizabeth's Almanor likely played a more symbolic role, reflecting the evolving relationship between the monarchy and societal welfare. From the groom of the stool attending to the monarch's most intimate needs, to the keeper of the royal bears overseeing cruel entertainment, these roles paint a vivid picture of how dramatically our societal norms and practices have evolved. As we bid farewell to these archaic jobs, we can't help but marvel at the ingenuity, dedication, and in some cases, the sheer absurdity that characterize them. While some may evoke a chuckle or a sense of disbelief, they serve as a reminder of the rich tapestry of history that's shaped our present-day lives. So what do you think of these bizarre royal staff positions? Which one did you find the most fascinating or outrageous? With the benefit of hindsight, what other seemingly normal practices or roles from our current era do you think might be viewed as bizarre or obsolete by future generations? Share your thoughts and reactions in the comments down below. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye!